And welcome to Meganet Gaming, and today the game we're going to be looking at is Zool. Zool was released for a variety of platforms, including the versions I've played are the MS-DOS version, which is a rather poor, it's an acceptably mediocre port of the original game, I'll say that. But game Zool, developed by Gremlin Graphics, published by Gremlin Graphics, is on the Acorn Archimedes, the Amiga, Atari ST, CD32, MS-DOS, Game Boy, Game Gear, Master System, Genesis, and the Super Nintendo. So what we're going to do today is we are going to actually play the version I have controller support for at the moment, which will be the Sega Genesis version, which I believe in a lot of ways, as far as ones I have access to that I can record easily, likely is the best as far as those go, as far as matching both the MS-DOS and the CD32 version. Now CD32 version does have the best soundtrack by far. The MS-DOS one is limited to PC speaker, seemingly, or perhaps it's just the version I have. But nonetheless, at the moment, the easiest one for me to record is the Sega Genesis one on an emulator, so I'll do that. And then I'll just interject when there's any serious difference between the different versions. So, anyways, I'm getting this started up. You're a gremlin ninja of the nth dimension. You have 7 levels to go through. End of each level has a boss. And that's the game, pretty much. But, explained that way, you could make any game sound like quite the piece of junk. This one we're going to actually explore in a little bit more detail and show off some of the initial levels. So, here we go. The Sega Genesis graphics are actually quite a bit better than the MS-DOS ones. They're quite a bit more crisp. And the levels are actually quite a bit different too in design, but the content's basically the same. So yeah, anyway, it is a rather difficult game, but not necessarily for the right reasons. It's Sonic minus the precise controls and good level design. What made Sonic great wasn't the fact you could go fast, but it was because the levels were designed in such a way where they were rhythmic in a way. In this game, not so much. I'm not the best person at this game either, but these levels just aren't designed all that well, nor are the controls the most responsive I've ever played in a game like this. Luckily, if you wanted to, you could just go through some of these levels just guns a-blazing and hope for the best. And yeah, the game does kind of play like a combination between Jazz Jackrabbit, Sonic the Hedgehog, and a giant turd. Which I guess if you combine those 3 things together, yes, that's how you do it. Just go through the level. So yeah, with the Sega Genesis version and the CD32 version, neither one has that great of controls. But you can eventually get a hang of them. And of course, it's always fun when we get to end of a level and realize nothing better than getting to end of a level only to realize that, hey, I forgot to do something. I get something. Yeah, this is Zool on the Genesis, which is a fairly accurate port of the CD32 version, but with music that's not quite as good. Also, the controls not quite as good. The Amiga and Amiga CD32 versions are my favorite. Now I'm going to show off some of the graphics from the DOS version. And the score I'm going to give this is going to be the score for the DOS version, since that's what I own. But all the games suffer from the same problems. In a lot of ways it's like it's trying to be Sonic or Jazz Jackrabbit, even though this was prior to Jazz Jackrabbit. But it's almost as if they had played Jazz Jackrabbit, and they definitely had played Sonic, and decided to try to combine the two concepts, yet just failed to recognize what made those two games fun, which was the rhythmic nature of the levels, where you could get into a certain flow and just speed through the levels very quickly because the level design was so superb. However, in these versions of the game, the levels are designed in a bit of just kind of a haphazard way, where they just kind of put stuff in random spots. It does have the wall jumping thing, which is kind of neat. And Sonic with bullets is kind of fun. It's just not enough to make a difference. The controls in the DOS version are quite a bit worse, especially if you're using a keyboard. It's slightly better if you can get a joystick up and running. So yeah, the controls are lackluster. The concept's neat. It adds a few things to Sonic that are neat that he didn't have, but the level design ruins most of it. It's supposed to be a fast-paced action platformer that really can't be played fast-paced, especially with the field of view, and the DOS version being so limited. When you can only see so far in front of you at that limited distance, it creates a situation where you end up just going at a slow pace because you don't have another option. Yet this game is clearly not designed to be done at a slow pace. So that's Zool. Like I said, the Amiga CD32 version is my favorite, or even the standard Amiga version. It has better sound, and the controls are slightly better than the Genesis version. And the Genesis version is quite a bit better than the MS-DOS version as far as sound and graphics. The DOS version, the sprite's bigger, but so is the field of view. It's just like they zoomed in, so now you see even less of your environment. You can't plan, you don't really know where you're at. And a game that is designed based on speed is hindered even more by the not being able to see far enough in front of you, making the lousy level designs even more frustrating. So what you end up with here is a below average, but still playable action platformer. Like I said, if I was rating the CD32 version here, I'd be giving it probably a C+. The Sega Genesis one is C, but the MS-DOS version is just not very good. Overall, since it's still playable and has some interesting concepts, I'm going to go ahead and put in the D+ range, and I'll put it right below. We'll put it right below Star Wars Masters of Terrakazi for the PS1 and right above Batman Forever for the SNES. Interesting concepts executed poorly on the original platform, and then made even worse in subsequent ports, including the DOS version, which loses the music and loses the ability to play it at a fast pace, which is necessary for the game. Hope you enjoyed the review. Please like, subscribe, and have a great day.